UpstateGolfCard.com.
And now, welcome to Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Live conversation and lively debate about what's trending in the Carolinas. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Now here's Odi.
Well, hello there, and you are very welcome to Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. On the show tonight, DOGE is finding out that children, yes, children, could apply for loans during the COVID. Fortunately, there was a shooting in Washington, D.C., very close to the White House this morning. And auto pens. Have you heard anything about these auto pens? Is it another way to forge? Yeah, we'll be talking about that later in the show. I want to hear your thoughts. You can get in touch with me with the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, which is 800-905-0989. Or if you want to have a chat with me, you can get me on the PhD Weight Loss Talk line, which is 800-905-0989. Just pop them into your phone. Go on, just save it on your phone. You can save it in as Word Odi. I don't mind. You can go ahead with that. Yeah. Sorry I wasn't here last week. A little bit of a something happened. Something went up. It was a little bit of a vacation. And, it timed out well because we were doing some technical things here in the station as well. So it was all good. Don't forget, I am streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. It's on the News Talk WORD 989 Facebook page and on my own Facebook page, which is Odi Fitzgerald. So if you want to have a look at this Irish guy, seeing that it is Irish month, oh yeah, I'll be talking about St. Patrick's Day. Don't be worrying about that. I will talk about it in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to know why so many people feel the need to drag others down when their world in specific is not going quite as right as they should. I want to talk now. I could talk about the Democrats. I could just sit here all night and give out about what the Democrats have been doing, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to mention that they're like little kids throwing their toys out of the pram or out of the playpen, whatever way you want to say it. I'm not going to say that. Because I was watching President Donald Trump. I was watching him do a few little bits and pieces. You know that the big speech that he was doing? You know, the Congress, yeah, when all the Democrats were just sitting down there. Yeah, they didn't really take any part in them. They didn't really stand up. They didn't applaud. It's almost like they weren't there. It's almost like they weren't part of the room at all. But no, I'm not going to talk about today. I'm not going to give out about the Democrats today because, I let everybody live and let live. But here's the thing. Rome was not built in a day. It wasn't built in a day. The administration that came before the Donald's administration, they messed up a lot. All right, they messed up quite a bit. There's a lot of things that are going to have to be fixed. And there's a lot of things that are going to have to be redone. And until any of that happens, it's going to take time. But do you remember when President Zelensky went to the White House and begging for money? And I hate to say it, but he actually was. Right? I know that was a week ago. I know it was a while ago. And I know. It was a while ago. But I want to talk about it because I wanted to talk about it when it happened. He walked into the White House. Now, remember the last time he went to the White House, he walked in and Sleepy Joe was there and he just walked up and he goes, "Hello, Sleepy Joe. I would like money, please." And Sleepy Joe said, "Oh, if you come looking for money, I mean, there's a certain situation. That's a different story. But I could give you some money. That's no problem at all. How much do you want there, President Zamoski?" I want billions and billions of dollars, Joe, please. And it was just given. Okay, the money was just given to him. Now, yes, I understand people in Ukraine are fighting for their lives. I understand that 100%. And I don't want any wars. I've said it many times, and I will say it again. I want the wars to stop. I want them to finish. I want them to end. But it seems to me that when Sleepy Joe gave President Zelensky all of the money that he needed, it was just prolonging the war. It was making more people die. Unfortunately, Russia is a really big country. They have a lot of money. And yet I know this war is bankrupting the country. They're running out of money soon. It will all be over. But it's something that was said to me is, oh, why is America not giving all the money? And this was said to me by European people. And this is what really annoyed me in the last couple of days, is that a lot of people who haven't, I won't say they haven't been in contact with me, but there's a lot of people in Europe, in Australia, in a few different parts of the world, have been in contact with me lately saying, oh, Donald Trump is doing this and Donald Trump is doing that. No, it's horrible. And I don't like when Donald Trump does this. And I don't like. Pay attention to your own country. Okay. First of all, you don't live here in America. I do. Me and all the countless Americans that live here, we're getting on pretty good. You know, things, they're not back to normal yet, but they're getting there. Yes, the price of eggs is coming down. I know it is. Don't stop. Don't even talk to me about the price of eggs. Price of ammunition. I was in a store. I was taking part in a competition a day or two ago, and I had to get some rounds. Price of ammunition is coming down. But when your own country is not running as well as it should, and I am looking at Ireland because a majority of people that sent me messages saying, "Oh, America's doing terrible. America's bad," and America. Look at your own country. Seriously, look at your own country before you even try to talk about how bad America is. It's not. Again, I am taking this moment to have a little bit of an Odi rant, but I live here, right? And all of the American people that live here, we all live here. We're in this country. We know what's happening firsthand. And yes, it is very different down here in the South. Down here in South Carolina, and if you're listening in Georgia or any of the many states that you can hear the sound of my voice, we're seeing change. We're seeing a lot of change. If you're up in the northern states, maybe you are seeing change. But again, I can't speak to that because I'm not living in the north. I'm not living up in New York and in Massachusetts and Chicago. I'm not living up there. I'm living down here in the South. And I know what's happening around me. So I'll just say to people, if you have nothing nice to say, don't bother saying it. And if you're living in glass houses, don't throw stones. Let me hear your thoughts. I want to know what you have to think about this. Do you think that Uncle Donny is getting everything back on track? Do you think that it's starting to get back to normal? You can text me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. That number again is 800-905-0989. And if you want to give me a call around the ad breaks because I can pick up then and have a chat with you. It's the PhD weight loss talk line, 800-905-0989. On the text line, Odie, the auto pen, I will be talking about that. I will get to that in a few minutes. And what are they're talking about national decisions. I'll get to all of that in a few minutes. I really will. But when I get back, I'm going to talk about something that happened up in Washington, D.C. this morning. A little bit of a sad story, and it's something that I try to highlight quite a bit. Yeah. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Getting you set for the week ahead with live and local talk. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Attention terrorists. Hold on. Here's Tara's Daily Rant.
Elizabeth, how are you?
And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters.
Two shooters.
Well, that's that theory's been out there for a long time. So.
Yes.
Tara is swatted. Hear the Tara Show weekday mornings on
News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Slight chance for showers tonight. Otherwise, cloudy skies.
Sorry. That better. Yeah, I left the radio up for a minute. Elizabeth, sorry, yeah, you were talking about the Ukraine and Russia. Yes, they are both led by murderous savages, unfortunately. But see, here's the thing, and this is what I've talked about many times, is the fact that if America and other countries didn't give the money to Ukraine, right, it's a double-edged sword. If they didn't give the money to Ukraine, then people would say, oh, they didn't help out and all these Ukrainian people are dying. But how many Ukrainian people have died because we technically extended the war? I mean, the war kept going because we gave $386 billion to Ukraine. So that to me is, yeah, it just, yeah. But, so how is everybody? Sorry I wasn't here last weekend. It was just one of those weekends. I'm very sorry about that. And we were doing some technical stuff here in the station. So it kind of, it got together on that, but yeah. Listen to that one. Yeah, sorry about that. Say. Now, if you haven't tuned into the show before and you're wondering why I'm talking without the show being on, well, I just keep the show going. I keep the okay. I didn't. Yeah, unfortunately, it is. What was it? Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the show before, so we're live on the radio. We're live on the radio on 98.9 on your FM. You can go out to your car and listen to it, or if you have a radio in your house. Do people have radios in? I'll ask that on air. No, I won't. I'll ask it on here. Do people have radios? Do you have a radio in your house anymore? I have radios. But yeah. I keep the show going during the ad breaks. So sometimes we have a separate show happening here on the stream, and you can get in contact there. See, there's all, or wherever it is, it's down there. I don't know where it is. You can get in contact with me at any stage, or you can give me a call on 800-905-0989 from anywhere within the United States of America. All right, let's do radio. On the text line, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989. Biden didn't screw this country up overnight, so President Trump can't fix it overnight. That's the thing. And I'm giving him time. And I 100% agree with you, texter. No, Biden didn't mess it up. He didn't, not in one night. He tried. He didn't quite do it in one night. On the streamline, because don't forget, I am streaming live on a Facebook and on YouTube. Elizabeth has been in contact with me. She says, Odi, Russia and Ukraine are both led by murderous savages, but Zelensky is putting bounties on journalists' heads. Yeah, I don't. He has been. And don't forget the show keeps going during the stream. So if you want to tune in on Facebook, the show stays going there. Elizabeth went on to say, I was talking about the fact that I feel that the war is still going. So here's the thing. The war in Ukraine it's over 3 years long now. Okay, it's been going on for 3 years. I think it's a double-edged sword. I was talking about this on the stream, but I think it is a double-edged sword. I think if America did not give any money to Zelensky or to the Ukrainian people, I believe the war would have been over a lot quicker. Okay? And I say that because they wouldn't have been able to fight the war. Now, I don't know what the outcome would have been. I don't know what the outcome will be. I don't know what's going to happen. But the war would have been over a lot faster because they had no way They would have had no way to fight back. They would have run out of ammunition. They would have run out of guns, tanks, everything, the lot. But also, if America didn't help, then we would have been considered the bad guys because you didn't help Ukraine. But are we just prolonging the misery? And I don't want to see any country fighting. I don't want to see any country in war. I mean, one of the main reasons for, well, nobody wants to see war, but I grew up in Ireland in the 1980s. And yes, Ireland was in turmoil in the 1980s. It was the North versus the South, and there was thousands of people being killed. It was horrible over the space of 10 years, 15 years. Well, of my lifetime, because I was born in 1981 and the Good Friday Agreement came in 1999. So over the case of 18 years that I was alive, all I remember hearing on the news and in the papers was that there was more bombings and there was more Catholics killed and more Protestants killed. So I grew up in that. I grew up in that kind of life, listening to that. And yeah, I was in and around the bad stuff as well. There was a few times when bombs went off in the same city I was in. So yeah. Now, sad news coming out of the our capital, Washington D.C. An armed individual was shot by the U.S. Secret Service. There were personnel posted outside the White House on Sunday morning. That was early. It was very early this morning. The person was described as suicidal, and they brandished a firearm when approached by the officers. It led to an armed confrontation. The individual was taken to the hospital, and his condition is unknown. See, I've talked about this before. Now, the incident is under investigation by the DC Metropolitan Police and Internal Affairs Division. And the president was not in the White House at the time of the incident. But what I'm after getting is, and I've been doing a little bit of more research on this. Unfortunately, the person brandishing a firearm, it was a BB gun. It was not even an air rifle, just a little, the BB guns, you can pick them up in any of the sporting goods stores. It's horrible to see, it's horrible to hear, but it's something that I talk about here, and I'm going to talk about it now as well. I normally talk about it at the end of the show. I have always, and for a long time, I've felt that the healthcare system, the mental healthcare system, now not only in America, but in Ireland, in Europe, everywhere is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So here we had a man this morning who he wanted to commit suicide by cop or suicide by Secret Service. And it's just, I feel that there's a lot of people out there who are having a lot of problems, having a lot of issues, and they've nowhere to go. They've nowhere to turn to. I mean, in Ireland alone last year, I lost two very good friends. They took their own lives because they felt that there was nowhere to go. They felt that there was nothing that they could do. They felt that there was no way out. But there is always a way out. There's always someone to talk to. Okay, now, and again, I will hold my hands up. My own personal life in the last 2 years hasn't been amazing. It hasn't been fantastic. It's been really good, like working in here, but everybody has little issues. Now, I'm not going to go into them. There's no point in going into them. I don't want to unload my troubles upon you. But I went and I got myself into therapy, and I got talking to a therapist, and things weren't terrible in my life, but I've found ways to look at things a lot better. And this is one thing that I like to get across as well. And I like to think that I'm a bit of an advocate for suicide prevention and crisis prevention. And remember, there's always a way out. Okay, there is always a way out. There's always someone who will talk to you. There's always someone that you can turn to. It doesn't have to necessarily be a friend. It doesn't have to be a relative. It doesn't have to be anybody close to you. But when times get too hard, and as we see there this morning, the guy, he was only 27 years old. I don't want to say, like the media says he was disturbed. I don't want to say that. He wasn't disturbed. He had severe issues going on in his life. And I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again, that the suicide and crisis lifeline is 988. Now, don't forget, you can call them anytime, 24/7. Pick up the phone, and you can give them a call. 988, that's the number. But don't worry. If you don't want to talk to them, if you don't want to call them, you just want to give them a text, then you can give them a text and you can talk to them through text. There's always a way out. And unfortunately for that guy up in Washington, D.C. this morning, I don't think there was an ulterior motive. I don't think he was going to try and storm the White House. Number one, he wouldn't have, because we know that the Secret Service are fantastic up in the White House and they would have stopped everything from happening. But yeah, it is something. So please, everybody out there, look after yourselves and look after other people. And if you think something is going wrong with somebody, if you think, they might need help, don't go straight to them and say, I think you need help. Be a little bit tactful about it, just offer them help. If you never need to talk, one of the hardest things for a guy to do, and I am a guy. Last time I checked, I am a guy. According to Donald Trump, I'm a man. One of the male of the species. And as a guy, one of the hardest things that guys can do is talk to each other. Girls talk to each other all the time. Every single day, girls will talk to each other. Guys won't. We just won't. You walk up to a guy and he could look like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. And you could say to him, is everything okay? He'll turn around with a little smile on his face. Yep. Everything's fine. Everything's good. But it's not. So just remember, guys find it very hard to talk to each other. And there's a little scheme that I was involved in Ireland. It's called Shoulder to Shoulder. And it's for men. And I think it's something that we need to bring over here as well. And I've no problem to talk about it more, because guys will talk to each other shoulder to shoulder. If you two of you are fishing, or you're sitting in the golf cart and you're shoulder to shoulder, you're sitting beside each other, conversation might start up. And if you're so inclined, you might start the conversation up. You might just look at your buddy, or not look at him, looking straight ahead of you, and just say, how's everything going, bud? And he'll say, yeah, it's fine, everything's good. But just say to him, no, really, how's everything going? You never know. You never know what might happen. You could help somebody out. You could help someone that you don't know needs helping. So look out for each other. Please look out for each other. Don't let what happened in Washington, D.C. this morning happen again with an individual trying to get his life taken by Secret Service guys. On the text line, Odi, the police were under no obligation to ask if it was a real gun or a BB gun before they shoot. No, exactly, they're not. Everybody's seen. You've seen the guns, the BB guns that are in Walmart or any of the stores, not just Walmart, any store. Academy, all of them. They all sell BB guns. You've seen them. They look like the real deal. Someone comes at you with one of those guns, you're not going to ask questions. You're not going to say, sorry, hello, just have a little word with you, please. Would you mind telling me, is that a BB gun or is it a real live? You're not. You know, exactly, 100% caller. What have we got here? Odi, you told your friends in Europe exactly right. Trump will handle it. If Europeans are so worried about Ukraine, tell them to foot the bill. See, there you go. And that's something else that I talked about. Talking about it previously about Donald Trump holding back on giving more money. Yeah, Europe hasn't. Europe has decided that, well, it's okay. It is okay. America will do it. The thing is, there's a lot of European countries who could stop it all from happening. They could end it all. They could. They really could. Someone was asking about the Troubles. Yes, that was the Troubles. The time in Ireland when the North and the South were unfortunately bombing the living daylights out of each other. Yep, that was the time of the Troubles. That's what it was called. Now, when I get back, hold on, no, I've done that one wrong. When I get back, I will be having a chat about more Secret Service stuff. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD. It is the voice of the Carolinas.
Justin Trudeau remains as prime minister until Carney is sworn in. He will have to deal with President Trump's trade war and annexation threat. A 4.1 earthquake hits Southern California today. The quake centered between Oxnard and Malibu, not far from the devastating Palisades wildfire.
If you're wondering what a 4.1 can do, that's enough to maybe give you a little bit of a jolt, maybe scare you a little bit, but there are no reports of damage at this point.
Fox meteorologist Adam Fox. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Slight chance for showers tonight. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 45. East winds around 5 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Bluesheet Sweet from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Currently, it's 54 degrees.
Bringing a world of information. There's a whole lot more out there to the good people of the Carolinas.
Information that matters amidst all the noise.
Political background knowledge.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
Covering what impacts you.
The best coverage right here.
Updates at the top and bottom of the hour.
What's going on now?
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
I'm Candace Long with Lessons in the Latter Days, giving biblical commentary on the times that we're living in. Join me Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries. And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless...
Sorry, guys, I made not a massive mistake. I made a little mistake and it threw me out. Happens, live radio. These things happen. That's what happens when you press the wrong button.
When it comes to great deals on tax prep, Jackson Hewitt isn't holding back, and neither is this commercial. Their offer is so big, it has to be said with Reverb. Expert tax prep for $149 or less. It's a deal so spectacular, it needs a symphony.
We'll talk about that, Elizabeth, when we come back on air, because that's something that I think needs to go out there. There's an ad on TV for Kellogg's Special K, and it looks really good. I'm kind of hungry. That's what happens when I come to work hungry. I was a little bit kind of hungry earlier on. Yeah.
Simple to understand. In one of the lawsuits, the Trump administration argued, look, Musk is the same as Anita Dunn was for Joe Biden. She is an appointed advisor who, in order to do this, that, or the other thing, can. It's not hard to understand. It's not even new. It's just they don't like that Musk is effective.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, Elon Musk. Just listening to Tara's promo there, Elon Musk is extremely effective at what he does. Then again, he's a billionaire, you know. I'll try not to press the wrong button this time. Oh, well. Now you're very welcome back. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about the healthcare system here in America. Elizabeth on the stream. Don't forget, I am live on the Facebook stream, my own and the WORD 989 Facebook page. They said, Odi, America used to have insane asylums, but the Democrats called them cruel and demanded they all be closed rather than correcting the problems in them. Now our streets and jails, prisons are the closest thing we have to insane asylums. Yeah, I don't like the term insane asylum, but I mean that's what they were, and they were there, and Ireland did have them as well, but I don't think they have them anymore. I think there is some places for criminally insane people. But the thing is, the human brain is a really complicated, complex device. And the thing is, we know more about what happens out in space, out in the stratosphere, out beyond the stratosphere, out in our solar system, in the Milky Way, the galaxy that we live in the universe. We know a lot more about all of that than we do about the human brain. There's an awful lot of stuff we don't know about the human brain. And the thing is that people can suffer from many different things. Like there's all different types of depression. And back in the day, they didn't know what to do. There was electroshock treatment. There's a lot of people now who some doctors just feel, oh, here's a load of drugs. Take some drugs, you'll be fine. You'll get better. But what I found as well, what I found helped me a lot was the fact that a therapist that I went talking to told me get out into the fresh air. Now, this is just for me. I'm not giving any medical advice. This is just for me. Get out fishing. I love fishing. I'll go fishing. Get out into the woods. Get some fresh air into my body. Trying my best not to stay in bed for a day. Because it can happen. It can very easily happen. There was a saying in Ireland that if someone was depressed, they've taken to the bed, which means that they're spending a lot of time in bed. And yeah, there's a lot of people who just feel that they can't get up. Anyway, during the break, someone asked me what was the Troubles. Was it called the Troubles in Ireland? And could I explain it a little bit more? Yes, I can. No problem at all. Basically, the Troubles it was the Catholics in the South. The Republic of Ireland is generally a Catholic state. A lot of Catholic people living there, a lot of Catholic people in it. And the north of Ireland is the six counties in the north, and they are generally a Protestant state. And it's basically the loyalists against the Republicans. Republicans wanted the entire country back to themselves, and the loyalists didn't want to give it back to them, and they still don't, and it's still part of the UK. Remember, Ireland is split into two. It has Ireland, Republic of Ireland, and it has Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. And they were blowing each other up because of it. Sorry, I forgot how to use my words there for a second. But yeah. So that's what the Troubles were. They were all the way back. It's been for decades, absolute decades. Ireland gained its full independence in 1922, and pretty much since then, it was the IRA versus the UVF, the Ulster Volunteer Force. They say that they're all deactivated and they don't do that kind of stuff anymore. But yeah. Now there's news coming out of Pennsylvania that there has been a number of vehicles caught fire after an incident, yet another plane crash. Now, we've talked about plane crashes quite a lot in the last couple of weeks. It seems every single week I come on here, there's been a plane crash of some sort. And here's another one. There's another one. It's a 1981 Beechcraft Bonanza. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. If it's a 1981, surely you can't be airworthy. Yes, it is. Light aircraft have to do rigorous testing, and they have to do rigorous testing all the time, and to keep them airworthy. But there's been footage showing of firefighters and first responders on the scene of multiple injuries reported. The FAA is investigating the crash, and the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, has offered the state's resource for any assistance whatsoever. The story, as I say, is still developing, and if I get any more updates, I will 100% come back to you about that. and let you know a little bit more about it. But the thing is, why is there so many plane crashes happening in the last couple of weeks? Now we talked about it. We talked about it at length. The fact that maybe there's people not doing the right job, and maybe they're just kind of pencil whipping if they need to do checks on aircraft, that they're just pencil whipping it. If there's preventative maintenance that needs to be carried out on an aircraft that it's not being done, it just seems to be that there's a lot of air incidents. And look, I'm not saying that air travel is unsafe, because it's not. Like, theoretically, you're more likely to be killed by a donkey than you are to be killed in an air crash, or killed by livestock on a farm. Air travel is one of the safest means of travel. It certainly is. Like, it's safer to fly in an aircraft than it is to get in a car and drive on the interstate. But it's just happening. It's happening so much. Would you agree? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on this. But it's 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 getting kind of scary, and it's getting to the kind of thing where I'm not too sure that I want to get into a plane in the next while. That's just my thoughts about it. You let me know your thoughts. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about auto pens. Auto pens, yeah. It's the things that you don't have to sign a piece of paper. I like signing pieces of paper. Sometimes. Sometimes I don't. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Slight chance for showers tonight. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Lows of a low around 45. East winds around 5 miles per hour. The meteorologist Jennifer Sheetspeed from the News Talk 98.9 WORD.
If anybody was watching the Pulse yesterday evening, I had fun. Sorry. Things up there. That's interesting, Elizabeth. I must actually take a look at that. No, I will. I'll take a look at that, Elizabeth, and I'll check out the stats. That song's gonna be stuck in my head now for the rest of the night. I hate that. I love playing songs because I play songs, the beds and all that kind of stuff. But I hate it because the song gets stuck in my head and then I have to listen to it on the way home. Like last night, myself and Lonzo were messing with the two guys, and we started. Actually, I can't even remember the. I can't even remember the song it was. Go on. Yes, I'm on the Gatorade. I'm a little bit tired. Need to get some electrodes. Doodle doon doon doon. Doodle doon 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 doon. Doon 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 doodle doon. Diddle doon, diddle doon, diddle doon, doon doon. Song stuck in my head. No, yeah, that was a song, but that's not the one I was singing when I went home. I can't remember it. Sun goes. Thanks, Mama Bev. That's stuck in my head now. Sun goes down in my part of town. I'm just going to do radio. That's what I'm going to do. No. Now, have you noticed that things with Uncle Donny are extremely transparent? Yes? No? Maybe? Possibly? I have. What am I talking about, Odi? What are you talking? Odi, what are you talking about? Well, I can tell you what I'm going to talk about. We have seen how many times in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Is it 4 weeks, 5 weeks? I don't know. How long is Donny in? Donny's in place a long time now. He's 5 weeks, not a long time. Short time in the greater picture, but a long time. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, in the last couple of weeks, we have seen Uncle Donny sign a lot of executive orders. Okay. You look, and he's in the Oval Office, and he has a folder in front of him. He opens up the folder, 10 or 15 folders in front of him, opens up the folder, picks out a pen, signs the document, gives his signature a scoring out of 10, which I think is incredible. I think it's funny. It is funny, but he gives it a score out of 10, which I think I might start doing that in work. I think if I have to sign any documents, I think I might score my own signature out of 10. But he does. He signs about a 10, and we see, and he tells people, he turns it to front people, and he shows them, like, this is the executive order, like the one where he stopped having guys pretending to be girls in female sports. He signed that, and he showed it to the crowd, and the crowd went, fair enough, fair play, we'll go with that. And he might have given the pen, he gave the pen to a little girl. Happy days, Merry Christmas, end of story. But dozens, thousands, whole truckloads of executive orders were signed by former President Joe Biden. They were authorized with identical auto pen signatures. Now, you know what an auto pen is. Some celebrities do this. They do auto pens because, otherwise they're having to write their signature thousands of times. And sometimes they'll have photographs and they'll have their signature on it, but it's a stamp or it's an auto pen. Same thing. It's a stamp. So basically, it's Joe Biden's signature, okay, but he didn't make it. Now, he gave somebody the right to make it, okay? So he gave somebody the authority to put his signature onto an executive order. Now, I want to know, on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 800-905-0989, I want to know what you feel about that. Now, if you were trying to, my phone was ringing there a few minutes ago. If you're trying to get in contact with me, Odi's on his own here in the studio. Yeah, it's lonely. It's lonely here on a Sunday night. Odi's all on his own. So if you're going to give me a call either when the news is on or coming into an ad break, and then I can answer the phone, have a chat with you. It's no problem, get you on the air. But if you want to get your thoughts across, you know where to do. Text it out to me. Okay? How do you feel about the fact that maybe, just maybe, Sleepy Joe wasn't actually signing anything? How easy would it be? How easy would it be to forge a signature? Okay? How easy would it be to forge a signature? Because it's a case of, I'm going to put this executive order through. I'm going to push it as hard as I can. Just say if somebody in the office, just say there was I'm just going to put this out there. Okay. Say there was somebody in the office who wanted to get marijuana legalized in a state. or across the entire country. They could walk in. I don't know. Maybe there was somebody in around the White House back then who may have partaken in illegal substances. Listen, I'm I'm just speculating. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, would there have been anybody in the Oval Office? Not in the Oval Office. No. I'll retract that. Odie retracts that statement. Would there have been anybody in the White House, possibly last year, the year before that, for maybe 4 years, who might have had some dealings with illegal substances? And maybe if there was a bill that was making things legal, I was going to say unillegaling, but that's not a word. And they could have used, a relative signature on an executive order. So how many executive orders went through that Uncle Joe signed, or that Sleepy Joe? He's not Uncle Joe, he's Sleepy Joe. There's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of things have been said as well as like, how do we know? But what's very interesting is that when a few pardons were dropped recently, do you remember just before Christmas? Do you remember that? Now, if you're wondering, do you remember is a word. Do you remember just before Christmas that there was a pardon that covered Owl Fauci? Remember that? Yoke, because that's all he is a yoke. And Hunter. Remember Hunter? Remember him? He got pardoned as well. But the signature on both of those pardons were done with a pen, like a real pen, like Sleepy Joe's handwriting. So does that mean that the rest of the stuff that went out there, excuse me, oh, sorry about that. Does that mean that the rest of the executive orders that went out there were not real or were not done by Uncle Sleepy Joe? I'm just going to call him Uncle Sleepy Joe. Does that mean that there's a lot of bills have gone out, or there's a lot of executive orders that have gone out that were not covered, that were not read, that were not pushed past the president? There's a lot of stuff has happened. Excuse me. There must be pepper in the room. A lot of stuff has happened in the last 4 years that we don't know about. There's a lot of bills have gone through that we're kind of like, did it actually happen? And all because of auto pens. Huh. I just think that the reason that the Democrats are moaning and whining and refusing to stand up and refusing to clap and refusing to acknowledge that Uncle Donny is El Presidente. He's the boss. He's the chief. He's the big man. He's up in the White House. I think the reason that so many of them are refusing to be nice, or they're just being little kids, as I say earlier on, throwing all of their toys out of the playpen, is because they know what's about to happen. They know they're going to be found out. They know they're going to be figured out. They know that everything is going to go down. They're thinking, oh, crap. All the stuff we did in the last 4 years. Joe doesn't care. Joe's sitting somewhere drinking a warm cocoa and possibly, I don't know, eating vanilla ice cream. Have the sales in vanilla ice cream gone down since Donnie got back into the White House? I'd like to know that. But are the Democrats terrified? Because all of the BS that they put through in the last 4 years is being found out. I mean, guys going into female sports, that's being quashed. The rights for little kids as young as 4, as young as, was it 3? As young as 3, being able to have sex changes? As young as 3? What kind of a world were we living in? And the thing is, well, we didn't accept it because obviously we voted for the right man to get into the White House. But when you just think about it, when I just sit back and I think about it, a 3-year-old getting hormone replacement for a sex change. I mean, my son is 4, right? My little boy is 4 years old. and we were at a St. Patrick's event yesterday, and we had brilliant fun. We were dancing. I was emceeing the event, but when the music was playing, we were dancing, and he was having fun, and he was running around the place, and he was dancing with everybody, and there was little girls on the stage, and he was dancing with the little girls, and there was boys on the stage, and he was dancing with the boys, and he was just dancing. He was having fun. It has never, ever crossed into his mind. He's 4. He started school. Never crossed into his mind. I have one of these little things down here. Maybe I shouldn't have it. Maybe, maybe, maybe. I mean, what's the difference between daddy and mommy? Well, daddy's taller. Well, that's okay, fair enough. But he doesn't know what to do. At 4 years old, a kid should not even slightly, a kid shouldn't even slightly know what their sexual organs are for. They're for going to the toilet. That's it. It doesn't matter what they have. They just know that they go to the toilet. They do it with whatever they have. There should be nothing. There should be nothing else. And any child at 3 years old that says to you, oh, well, I think maybe I should have been, if it's a little boy, maybe I should have been born a girl. Do you honestly think that's the words coming out of that child's mouth? Or is it the words coming out of their parents' mouth telling the child to do this, or telling a child to be non-binary? I don't know about you, but when I was a little kid, when I was back in Ireland, and it was 1985, give or take, I was starting school, and I can categorically say I knew I was a little boy. How did I know I was a little boy? Because, well, I had one of them thing, well, I still do, and it was like little boys have a penis. There you go. Little girls don't. I was more interested in where I was going to get some chocolate. That's all. Because I was a round little kid. I was. I was ever so slightly pudgy. And I was more interested in where I'm going to get chocolate. And all I knew when I was 4 years old is that girls were stinky. Stay away from them. Girls, ew. When you see your mom and dad sharing a little kiss, ew. And that was a great time to be alive. It is still a great time to be alive, because now there's not the option for little 4-year-olds and little 3-year-olds to get sex changes. On the text line, Odi, it appears that Hunter Biden's paintings are now worthless. So Hunter Biden used to do some paintings. Well, now they're worthless. Yeah, they are. Odi, my kids could barely control their organs down there when they were 4, let alone know what they were. Exactly. Kids don't even know what their organs are for, let alone it is their parents. It is different types of parents. Listen, if you want to live in a fantasy in your own life, do it. I have said 1,000 times, I do not care. If somebody comes up to me and says, Odi, I identify as an Apache attack helicopter, I will look at them and I'll say, that is cool. You go for it. If a guy walks up to me and says, I'm actually female, okay, go for it. Have at it. If a girl walks up to me and says she's a guy, more power to you. Gay, lesbian, go for it. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Hope of no boogers. What have we got? Elizabeth, all depends. Should not be allowed for signing. No, they shouldn't. Executive orders, sharing bills, slow. No. All depends should be for signing Christmas cards. 100%. Sex change for young children is Munchausen by. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Canada is supposed to hold its general election in October, but it may be called sooner. Jill Nato, Fox News.
President Trump continues navigating an ancient war between Russia and Ukraine.
An exclusive interview with President Trump on Sunday morning. Future Maria Bartiromo asked the president if he is comfortable that if he walks away from Ukraine, the country might not survive. This was President Trump's answer.
Well, it may not survive anyway, but, we have some weaknesses with Russia. It takes two. But it was not going to happen, that war, and it happened. So now we're stuck with this mess.
President Trump also said he expects Ukraine to sign that mineral rights deal. On Fox News Sunday, Senator Lindsey Graham.
I think I was doing yard work today, and I think the old pollen got into my brain. Happens quite a bit.
Crossing Jubilee, a celebration of civil rights leaders who marched from Selma to Montgomery in 1965. Americans listening to Fox News.
I hope I've no buggies. Nah, I'm clean.
Exploring the life and crimes of 5 serial predators from across the United States. It's a very disturbing case. Never before heard interviews and first-hand perspectives.
Described as pure evil. That's a good description.
The Fox Nation Investigates podcast, Evil Next Door.
I'm watching something. Well, I'm not really watching it. It's on the screen behind me, and I have no idea what it is, but it looks really good. Oh, he's dead. There's green things. I like green things.
A whole lot of shaking from an earthquake in Southern California.
Initially read as a 4.2 magnitude, now down to a 4.1 magnitude. This was epicentered 7 miles southwest of West Lake Village. That's basically between Oxnard and over towards Malibu. So it puts it about 20 miles away from where we saw those Palisades fire. If you're wondering what a 4.1 can do, that's enough to maybe give you a little bit of a jolt, maybe scare you a little bit. But there are no reports of damage at this point.
And that is Fox weather meteorologist Adam Klotz. Israel says it has accepted terms to work on negotiations that would continue a ceasefire deal.
U.S. officials will reportedly join those negotiations in Doha this week. It comes as Hamas says they are ready to continue negotiations for a second stage in this ceasefire. Israel says it supports the plan brought forward by the U.S. that would call on Hamas to hand over half of the 59 hostages now and the other half when a permanent ceasefire is reached. Hamas has said that it would instead stick with the agreement signed in January. President Trump gave what he called a final warning, posting online on Thursday, quote, release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of people you murdered or it is over.
Sorry, I'm just listening to the news there. I know, a news guy listening to the news. I'm not really a news guy. I'm the guy that does the thing. Anyway, forecast and then stuff.
Maryland Department of Health is urging people who got off flights and were in the international arrivals area of Dulles Airport in Washington between 4 and 9 p.m. March 5th, and at the Johns Hopkins Howard County ER between 3:30 and 7:30 p.m. March 7th to be checked for exposure and watch for symptoms. I'm Kathleen Maloney. This is Fox News.
Diddle-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Now, the Carolinas' most trusted forecast from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Slight chance for showers tonight. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. Lows level off around 35. East winds around 5 miles per hour. The meteorologist Jennifer Ritchie from the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center. Right now, it's 52 degrees.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. Every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need. We guarantee if your reading is a
Sunday nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Live conversation and lively debate about what's trending in the Carolinas. This is Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Now here's Odi.
And you're very welcome back to Sunday Nights with me, Odi Fitzgerald. For the news there, we were talking about transgender. Somebody popped in a message to me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. I nearly read the old one for some reason. I don't know why it popped into my brain. 800-905-0989. Odi, if transgender people were any good at being transgender people, they wouldn't be misgendered. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. On the stream, because don't forget, I am live on the stream as well on the News Talk WORD stream on Facebook and on my own YouTube page, Odi Fitzgerald. You can look me up there if you want to have a little look at this Irish leprechaun wearing a bluey shirt. Yeah, my son gave me a bluey shirt and I am wearing it with pride because anything my son gives me, I love. On the stream, Elizabeth says, Odi, auto pens shouldn't be allowed for signing executive orders or signing bills into law. I'm 100% with you on that. Save the auto pen signings for Christmas cards. And he probably didn't. I'd say the Christmas cards were signed by, the real guy, if he knew where he was. Now, during COVID-19, we're going to be talking about DOGE here. So, do you remember when Elon Musk was the talk of the town? Do you remember when he was the best guy in the world? Well, he still is. But you remember when Democrats used to like him? Yeah. They've turned, haven't they? Remember that? Well, I still like him. I like Elon. Good guy. But during COVID-19, millions of taxpayer dollars were loaned to young children and impossibly old individuals. Now, remember, a couple of weeks back, I was telling you about people that were over 230 years old. Apparently, there's people that old living vampires, I think they were. But anyway, yeah, possibly old individuals were revealing that there was widespread government fraud and waste. No. Really? The government were spending money badly? The Department of Government Efficiency, which is DOGE, led by Elon Musk, uncovered extensive fraud in government loan programs. The loans were worth hundreds of millions and millions of dollars going to suspicious recipients. A small business administration approved loans to children under the age of 12. Okay. What? I mean, I don't get it. How did they think they were going to get away with it? Like, if you do something stupid in your life, you're not going to get away with it. They're giving money to under 12s and the elderly, old people. Remember, I told you, people over the age of 100, or, well, no, I'm going to be, because there is people over the age of 100. Maybe they might get loans. You never know. But people over the age of 200, I cannot. Like, if somebody set me down last year or the year before and said, Odi, on Sunday night, the 9th of March, 2025, you're going to be talking about people who were over the age of 200 getting loans from the government. Do you know what I would have done? Turned around and laughed at them. That's what I would have done. Individuals, there has been clear issues like mismatched social security numbers. You know your social security number. I actually don't know mine off heart. I know a lot of people. I know I should. Listen, give me a break. I'm only 7 years in the country. I know, 7 years. Yeah. So DOGE is now working with the SBA. I don't know what the SBA is. The Small Business Association, to address these discrepancies. Here's a discrepancy. You messed up. To eliminate wasteful spending, highlighting the urgent need for reform and accountability in government spending. Time for Odi to say his thing. Here's the thing. How much money How much money have we wasted? And yes, I say wasted because we are all taxpayers. How much? Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to talk about the. I finished this. A thought has just burst into my brain. We've spent a lot of money, and Elon and his crew are finding where we have spent money. I got sent, different topic. I got sent a message saying to me, Odie, are you worried about being deported? No, I'm not. And I got sent it during the week, and I'll tell you why. Because they're saying now that in New York and places along those lines that there is a lot of Irish people being deported, right? And the reason is because they're in the country illegally. And yes, I know they are my countrymen. People, I don't know them. I actually don't know anybody. No, do I? No, I don't. I know a couple of people in America came the same way as me. Came over on a visa, got themselves a green card, and ta-da, here we are. Okay. I had a message sent to me by a friend. Are you worried? Are you worried? Odie, are you worried? I said, no, I'm not. And then they're saying they won't get rid of the Irish people that are here because, well, they're paying taxes. Here's the thing, they're not. If you are in the country illegally, the only taxes that you're paying taxes on items that you're buying, like your food, groceries, or your gasoline prices. Okay, you're not paying income tax because if you're in the country illegally, chances are you are not being paid with the correct means. You're not your money doesn't go into your bank from your employer. Chances are it's a brown envelope at the end of the week. And now I don't know how to do it. I don't know how illegal people do it, but they have driver's licenses, or from a documentary I saw many years ago, they don't have driver's licenses and they're just driving vehicles. And again, if you're doing that, if you're in the country illegally, you are breaking the law. Straightforward as that. If you're in the country and you do not have the documentation to be in the country, then you're breaking the law. So you should be deported. And they're saying to me as well, oh, well, that's your Irish people, your Irish friends. I'm like, no, it's not my friends. They're people that are here in the country illegally. Oh, they're being deported in terrible ways. They're being handcuffed and they're being led on to aircraft and they're being sent back to Ireland or to mainland Europe or wherever they've gone. Yeah. What's your point? If you're just hear me out for 1 second. If you decide tonight, now you better not decide tonight. But if you go out tonight and you have a few beverages, alcoholic beverages, a couple of beers, and you drive home, which you shouldn't don't do it. Because if I get out to you, and a cop comes up behind you, and he does a sobriety test on you, and you fail the sobriety test, he's going to put you into handcuffs. He's going to put you back into the back of the car because guess what? You've broke the law. You break the law, you're going to get put into handcuffs. You're going to get put into a vehicle, and you're going to be brought somewhere. It's the exact same if you break the law. If you're in the country illegally, you're going to be put into handcuffs. You're going to be brought somewhere, and chances are a cop is going to be with you the whole way. So don't. Just don't break the law. And if I catch you drink driving, there'll be hell to pay. Don't be doing it. Stop it. No need to. Get an Uber. There's Ubers everywhere. I didn't want to talk about this, but I'm going to. Designate a friend. Or have a few drinks at home. Either way. Don't drink and drive. It's bad. Odie will be disappointed with you. I will. When I come back, why do we all not know what time it is today? I'm going to have answers for you when I get back. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the time changes. Exactly. Harold, that's my thoughts exactly. You cannot pay taxes if you don't have social security number, which means that you're not getting paid in cash and the government doesn't know what you're getting. Yeah, exactly. Government has a clue. Yeah, they do, Elizabeth. Yeah, they do. I've seen that happen. It's a really cool way of doing it. Yeah, I've seen it done. It is really cool. Actually, I'll talk about it when we come back because it's something I think I like it. Led Zeppelin. Yes, I'm on my phone, looking at something. Ding 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 ding. Actually, I forgot I was on X. I could go on to X, and now I'm on X. 99.99, 98.9 WRD on X. So, Jen, here's the thing. No. Jen, I'm going to delete that one just because it says the name of a company. But yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just going to delete it because it says the name of a company. I don't mind. I got a kick out of it. It was funny, but you know. How is everything going there, by the way? Jen, you know these kind of things. What's on FX at the minute? There's a show on FX at the minute. I don't know what it is. It's I don't have a guide or anything, so I can't see. It's just it's there. Same as always. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to radio stuff again. I like radio stuff. Hey, you're very welcome back. Now, apparently, I'm a very naughty American. Listen, I'm working on it. Okay, I'm trying to be the best American I can be, even if I do have an Irish accent. You know, Odi on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800 905 0989. Odi, tut tut tut, for shame. I know my SS number, my driver's license number, my tag numbers, and both of my vehicles by heart. Nope, haven't got a clue. I don't know any of them. None of them at all. Odi, I think 50% of all taxpayer money has been wasted. I don't think you're wrong there. I really don't think you're wrong. I looked at the GAA. The surgeries look like, the gender reassignment surgeries for male to female and female to male. It looks absolutely hard. How could a parent be okay with doing that to their child? Yeah, we were talking about kids getting sex changes earlier on. They are horrible. I've seen videos. Look at it. Have you ever been on YouTube and you just go down a rabbit hole and you just all of a sudden you're looking at videos and you're like, what am I looking at? Now, earlier on, we were talking a little bit about air crashes as well. And on the stream, somebody's gotten onto me. Elizabeth got onto me and she said, go back to aviation. An airplane mechanic in a downtown airport told me that they use ferrets. Yeah, I'll say that slowly. Ferrets, small things, small little rat-looking things. They look like to me. Wearing a harness, going through the wings. They pull the sorry, ferrets pull the wires through aircraft. Yes, I've seen it happen. It's really cool because they're so small and then get through all the cracks and things. I meant to say we're on X as well. I forgot to put it on X, but it's on X. It's there. Now, do you know what time it is? Time is, hold on, I'll do my best talking clock impression. Yes, there is such a thing as the talking clock. It was an English invention. It's a number you could call and it would tell you what the time was. And the talking clock used to sound something like this. At the tone, the time will be 9:22 p.m. Beep. And that's what used to happen. That's how people used to find out the time if they didn't know what time it was. But daylight savings time has just finished. This morning at 2 o'clock, why it went from 2 o'clock? So at 9:59 this morning, it went from 9:59 to 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Yes, I know. A lot of people say, can we not just leave it at summertime? And yes, I think we should. I do not know about you, but I would prefer to have a little bit more time in the evening, when you get home. So here in America, here in South Carolina, it gets dark in the summertime, or excuse me, in the wintertime at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, maybe a little bit later. Is about 5 o'clock. Like it starts to get dusk at about 4:30, and by 5:30 it's dark. Okay, and I know this because I'm a hunter and we watch the time. Latest light you're going to get is 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's gone. If we kept it in daylight savings time, now I want to hear your thoughts on this. Common Sense Retirement Planning, 800-905-0989. I want to know, should we stay in summertime? Should we stay in the time that we're in now? I think we should, because in the winter, it would mean that when you get home from work, you'll have an extra hour of daylight. Okay. If you get home at about maybe 4 o'clock, I think most people get home at maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, you'll have that extra hour of daylight. Do you need it in the morning? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Do we need an extra hour? Do we need it to get brighter a little bit? No. You get up in the morning, you're tired, it's dark, you get dressed, turn the lights on, you leave the lights off if you're mine, because, I don't want to wake the whole family, so I try to keep the lights off. Get dressed in the dark, which is always very fun, and go to work. You have your lights on in the car, you're going to work. You're not planning on doing a whole lot. You're going to go to work, and it doesn't need to be bright because, cars have great lights. Then you come home in the evening time and you've got an extra day. You got an extra hour of light. It doesn't get dark until a little bit later in the day. It'd be 6:30 by the time it gets dark in the wintertime. In Ireland, because Ireland is higher up on the world, the flat world that we have. Yeah. It gets dark. It gets dark in Ireland at about 3:30 in the afternoon during the winter. Now, in the summertime, it doesn't really get dark. It gets twilight, it gets dusk, but it doesn't really. But you're looking at the radio now and you're screaming at it, Odi, why do we have daylight savings time? Well, in 1916, Germany introduced daylight savings times to save energy during World War I. Now, I'm not too sure how that worked out for them because the fighting kept going at night. I don't know. In 1918, the United States adopted daylight savings time as a wartime measure. Again, I'm not really sure because, the fighting doesn't stop at nighttime. It doesn't. In 1919, daylight savings time was repealed in the United States. In 1942, daylight savings time was reinstated in the United States during World War II. Remember, World War II happened when it finished up in 1945. In 1966, the Uniform Time Act standardized daylight savings time because, well, I mean, America's a big place. And when it's one time in one place, it's a different time in a different place. I've traveled across the country a few times, and it always messes with my head. Like in Tennessee, there's a place in Tennessee that's just across the time zone, okay? And if you're just for argument's sake, if you're living in one time zone and working in the other time zone, what time zone do you set your clock to? I was always curious about that because in Ireland we don't have to deal with that, and most of Europe you don't have to deal with either. It's nearly all in the one time zone. A couple of time zones a little bit further out towards Lithuania and Latvia, and obviously into Russia, the time zones are different. But I was always curious about that, and we do broadcast to people in different time zones. So I'm curious: do you live on one side of a time zone and work in another one? So which one do you set all of your clocks to? And does your phone go nuts when you're going from one time zone to the next? Because my phone automatically set itself. Back to the timeline. Remember we were talking about that? In 1974, the United States adopted the permanent daylight savings time, but it was repealed after one winter. Why? I don't get it. I think I think the daylight savings time would work now because we're so technologically advanced as opposed to what they were in 1974. In 2007, the current time frame for the daylight savings time was established in the United States, and it just goes on and on. And although modern daylight savings time has been used for about 100 years, ancient civilizations practiced similar activity. See, I don't know why. Examples: apparently, the Romans used different scales for different months to adjust for the solar time. See, that I understand because, as you know, as the year goes on, the sun's position, depending on where you are. Now, if you're living on the equator, if you're living on the equator and you happen to be listening to the show tonight, this doesn't apply to you. Doesn't, because it just doesn't. Um, but as you know, the sun changes its position in the sky depending on the time of year. It gets in the wintertime, it gets lower on the horizon, and in the summertime, it's up high on the horizon. So, but yes, that's what I want to know. Common sense retirement planning text line 800 905 0989. Should we abolish daylight savings time? I think we should. It's just one radio presenter's feelings towards the entire situation, but I believe that we should abolish daylight savings time. On the stream, more daylight savings, more daylight in summertime. Parents can often go out with their after for a yeah. Parents can often go out for an after dinner walk and ride bikes and play with their kids. Yes. So I think that there is a lot to be said for for summertime. Yeah, I think we should keep the summertime. It's just my thoughts. Maybe I should start a petition. Maybe I should give Uncle Donny a call. Get him on the phone. Somebody get him on the phone. No, I'm here on my own in the studio. Okay, I'll get him on the phone when I go to an ad break, which is happening in about 10 or 15 seconds. And I will say, Uncle Donny, oh, do you think if I was to ring him up and ask him, right? Or Uncle Elon or Uncle Donny, and just say, guys, any chance we could keep summertime? I mean, I like summertime. It's good. Do you reckon I'd get to keep the pen that he'd use to sign the documentation? That'd be cool. I'd like. Oh, I think this is something to do. This is a new goal for Odie. I think getting a pen from Uncle Donny from something that I proposed to him, that'd be really cool. Everybody in the stream is saying making daylight savings time permanent. I think I'm onto something here. That's it. Right. I'm going to get onto the White House. You can go and listen to news. I'll get onto the White House. Talk to you in a few minutes. News Talk 1089 WRD, the voice of changing daylight saving time. That was a bit of a rant. Sorry about that. I need to put more music in my music place.
The nation's Liberal Party elects former central bank governor Mark Carney to replace Justin Trudeau. At least 5 people were injured when a small plane crashed near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. America listens to Fox News.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Sorry, singing a little bit of Beatles. I do like the Beatles quite a lot. Sorry, I'm just going through some stories here. Okay. Lots of people watching now. Jane, what's on? What's playing in SF or sci-fi? You've never told me. It looks good. I might watch it when I go home. Oh, that's show on Angelina Jolie. Hmm. So, what's your thoughts on death by firing squad? What's your thoughts on what happened here in the upstate? No, it wasn't upstate. It was in Colombia on Friday evening. A South Carolina man convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat. Yes, a baseball bat. In 2001 was executed by firing squad early on Friday evening. I think it was around 6 o'clock on Friday evening. Method used was the first time in 15 years here in the United States. Brad Sigmund, who was 67 years of age, was pronounced dead at 6:08 p.m. after being shot by three volunteer prison employees at 6:05. 6:05 it happened inside the Broad River Correctional Institution in Colombia. What's your thoughts on that? Really want to get your thoughts on that. So I know that previously the method was in lethal injection. Now, first thing I want to talk about is that he was convicted of the crime in 2001. That's 26 years ago. If you're convicted of the crime, he was convicted of the crime 26 years ago. And it took 26 years on death row of us paying his taxes, or sorry, us paying his taxes, us taxpayers paying for him to live in the prison. He was already sentenced by a jury of his peers and by a judge in high standing. He was already sentenced, and it took 26 years for it to go ahead. First of all, why does that happen? If you're convicted of a crime, why is death row such a long sentence? Why is it 26 years? Why is it long? I guarantee there's people who have been longer on the on death row. So let's go back to it here. What happened on Friday? Sigmund, who previously admitted, see, here's the thing. I read this earlier. I'm reading it again now. He previously admitted. The guy sat there and said, "Yes, I did the heinous crime," and yes, 26 years in death row. Previously admitted killing the couple because his ex-girlfriend refused to get back with him. He was blindfolded, strapped to a chair with a target on his chest. It was a little piece of cloth, a little piece of fabric on his chest, right over where your heart is. Your heart isn't actually where you think it is. It's more centered. A lot of people think it's like over your right nipple. That's where it is. No, it's not. It's in the middle of your chest. Well, a little bit to the right, but more like. He was strapped to the chair, target on his chest, and the executioners were armed with rifles about 15 feet away. They fired bullets into his heart. Now, I do believe that in a firing squad, not all of the weapons are loaded. Well, they are loaded. Some of them are loaded with blanks, and some of them are loaded with live rounds. And that's plausible deniability. And it's a thing for somebody's psyche, is that they can say, well, they took part of the execution, but in their mind, they can go and say that they didn't kill the person. So if there was three riflemen, riflewomen, then possibly only two of the guns were live. One of them wasn't, but it would have had a blank in it. A blank will do damage to you as well. The volunteers all fired at the same time through openings in a wall. A dozen witnesses who were seated in a separate room from the chamber, they were separated by bullet-resistant glass, and they could not see the executioners, which is fine. I've no problem with that. Just a few hours before death sentence, the U.S. Supreme Court denied an emergency motion suspending the execution because of South Carolina's policies surrounding the lethal injection details. U.S. Governor Henry McMaster and the South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson signed off the action despite pleas from his lawyers to commute the death sentence to life in prison. Now, I want to know how you feel about it. I want to know, first of all, how you feel about the death penalty. I was talking to a few people about this, and a few people have said to me that if they were in the shoes, that, a life sentence in prison, and, people can be reformed. No. If somebody gets a baseball bat and kills 2 people, that's not somebody that done something in the heat of passion, or it wasn't manslaughter, it was murder. He got a baseball bat and he said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and he did it. He even admitted to killing the people. Okay, so he admitted to doing it, so therefore guilty, 100% guilty. Went out of his way to kill these people, went and got a baseball bat and killed 2 people. If it's something where somebody dies in a car accident, again, if it was a drink driver that killed people, well, I mean, you could say it's murder. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. No. But if somebody went out there deliberately and killed somebody that was very close to me, a loved one, or even a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, if somebody was to do a heinous act like that, do you think I'd forgive them? Would you forgive them? I wouldn't forgive them, not even slightly. If it's a manslaughter case, they actually didn't mean to do it. It would take a lot. It would take an awful lot. But maybe I could. Maybe I could forgive somebody for that. But no. If somebody went out and murdered somebody close to me, anybody close to me, if they decided, if they made up their mind, now murder is a premeditated event. If somebody decides that they are going to kill another human being for no reason whatsoever, it's premeditated. So that means in the space of time that they think about doing it and committing the crime, they could actually stop. They could say, no, I'm not going to do it. But they got into a mindset where they were going to continue, they were going to proceed with their actions, and they were going to commit the crime. Once they did that, and this guy here, this Sigmund, 67 years of age, he done it when he was in his 40s. He faced the punishment. And do you think that a firing squad is a cruel way to go? I don't. And one of the reasons I don't is, as you know, I have been involved in equestrian. I like the whole equestrian, like horses and donkeys and all that kind of stuff. And any time, not just here since I moved to America, I've been involved in equestrian activities for many, many years, since I was about 10 or 12. And any time that a horse is severely injured, or if they're very sick and they can't get any better, or if they've been neglected or anything along those lines, the fastest and easiest way, and as vets have said, the least painful way to euthanize an animal is with a bullet. And vets have said that to me. So I think when this guy asked to be put to death by firing squad, he knew it was a quick way of doing it. Electrocution, I know sometimes it can go wrong. The lethal injection, I was reading a lot of articles where the last, I think, 4 or 5 lethal injections that were carried out were botched, and it made the people's lungs fill with water. And it was almost like waterboarding. They couldn't breathe. Yes, they were going to die. The people were going to die. But lethal injections have now been proved not to be a great way of doing it. Let me know your thoughts. Really want to know your thoughts on this one. Do you think he was right? Do you think he himself chose to die by firing squad, citing fears about the electric chair and lethal injection? Yeah. When I get back, I'm going to talk a little bit about Lent. Do you know what Lent is? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Yeah, Harold. I think it's like it's only $4, $5 to load the guns. I don't know what that was for a second. Seen the moon in this TV screen there, and I don't what the. Yeah, that's true, Elizabeth. I'll chat about that when I come back, guys. My lips are very dry. It's the time of year that it is, so I need to start putting some of the Burt's Bees on my lips. I'm a mess. I'm an absolute mess. So now I know everybody kind of suffers from hay fever and all that kind of stuff from pollen. But I get it pretty bad. I get headaches with it as well. Yeah, I know a lot of people do. Gets up into my sinuses. And the thing is that for some reason I can't take antihistamines because they absolutely destroy me. I'm very sensitive to anything like that. Um, what's the Nyquil? That knocks me out completely. That just Nyquil. If I take some Nyquil and just like, oh, gone. But yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. I suffer from chapped lips, dry skin. My skin is dry. I need to put on some moisturizer. Didn't help that I got sunburned yesterday. But then again, I'm Irish, so I could have got sunburned under a 40-watt lamp bulb. So yeah, I've got a little bit of sunburn on my head, and my hair is receding. Sorry, I'm just giving out now. I was going to shave my head again. I used to shave my head when I was younger. I was going to do it again. What do you think? Let me know. Oh, somebody remind me about Canada in the next segment. Canada, Canada, Canada. I I should get it myself. Oh, Canada. It's not cold. Love you. I don't think it's cold. So I was chatting about the death penalty and about firing squads, and on the stream, I have had a lot of reactions from it. Harold has been on, and he said to me that it saves taxpayer money using the firing squad because it's cheaper. And yeah, I'm a hunter. I know how much bullets cost. They don't cost all that much. I think lethal injection costs thousands of dollars. I do believe. So I mean that's one thing. Yeah, if it's going to be done by firing squad. Elizabeth bit on to me again, and she says, "So society has both the right and the duty to protect its members from the most vicious human predators in our midst. Also, the killers continue to kill behind bars, and other inmates who have shorter sentences have a responsibility." Yeah, and that's the thing. There is an expectation of being able to complete their sentences and rejoin society. Yes, I think now people on no, I don't know. I think the people on death row, if they're on death row, they're possibly away from other people. I don't know. I don't know, and it's not up to me. Now, need to play this one because I haven't given you an update in quite a while. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Donald hasn't arrived. As you know, at the start of the year, I didn't do a New Year's resolution, but I did set a goal for myself. I got injured a week and a half ago. Just a shoulder injury, nothing serious. Nothing big at all. I just had an injury. And as you know, I like to swim. So, if you're a little bit injured, you can't go to the place that I like to go to swim. And that place, as you know, is so I haven't been to the YMCA in a week. Haven't gone down there. I was a little bit poorly before that, and I didn't go for 4 days. And I didn't last week. All of last week, I didn't go near the gym, not even once. I know I should be ashamed of myself, but I'm holding my hand up and I'm saying that what happened is what happens to a lot of people around the world. It is the little wall that you hit where any excuse whatsoever, even the smallest little tiny excuse, will make you say, no, I can't go. I can't go to the gym because my toenail hurts. No. So this week, I'm going back to it, back into the gym, 100%. And I'm going to shed the pounds because, yes, I've gone the wrong way. The belly's getting a little bit bigger. The man boobs have returned. I'm a little bit ashamed of myself. But something happened last week, and it's going to help me. Lent. Do you know what Lent is? Lent is, it started last week, started last Wednesday. And it's 40 days and 40 nights in which we give up something. Now, I kind of need clarification on this because, as you know, I grew up as a Catholic, so Lent was a big Catholic tradition. Over here in America, with all of the other religions, you've Baptists and you've Presbyterians and you've born-again Christians and all of the different Christian communities. Do you have Lent? Let me know. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 800-905-0989. And if you do have Lent, because I know there's Catholics here as well. I've met quite a few Catholics since I've been here. If you do have Lent, have you given anything up? Have you decided to give anything up? Now, you don't have to give anything up. You can also take something up. And for me, it's going to get back to the gym because I was out all last week. I didn't go. Very ashamed of myself. I should give myself a slap on the wrist because I should have gone and I should have been playing this music in kind of celebration. But I didn't. So back into it again. If anybody is listening from work in my other job, you could be listening, could be tuned in. Tell me to go to the gym this week, will you? Just say it to me. Just be like, Odi, go to the gym. It's a little bit of drive that I might need. But getting back to it, Lent. It signifies the 40 days and 40 nights that Jesus spent in the desert and when the devil came to taunt him. 40 days of the devil, offering him food and water and all of nourishment and everything that he needed. And he said, no. He said, no, don't want it. You can take your food and you can shove it. Don't give it to me. Don't want it. But here's the thing. Okay. I'm going to cover two topics with this in one time. Irish people are a little bit crafty. We're just what they would say about us is we're cute. Now, I don't mean cuddly. We're cute, as in we bend the rules ever so slightly. And what am I saying about this? Right smack in the middle of Lent. Now, not this year, because Lent is a little bit later. Irish people decided, well, we want to do good and we want Jesus to smile upon us and, know that we're suffering for the suffering that he done and we're going to give up something. But we're going to put St. Patrick's Day right in the middle of it. And we're going to have a day that we can go to the pub and a day of debauchery and a day where we can indulge and spend because, 40 days is a long time. And Irish people, sometimes, just sometimes, we need to get out and we need to enjoy everything. And it's just a case of, we're just a little bit we're a little bit Irish when it comes to some things. I have the bagpipes in the background. And why you got the music in the background? Where's the thing? My beautiful American friends, and you are Every single one of you is beautiful. I implore you, do not, I repeat, do not, and I'm going to talk about this next Sunday night as well. I'm going to say it with bells on next Sunday night. Do not call it St. Patty's Day with 2 T's. That's not a day. It's not. It's not. St. Patrick's Day is on the 17th of March. We can also call it St. Paddy's Day with 2 D's, P-A-D-D-Y. And you're maybe asking me, Odi, why do we call it St. Paddy's Day when it's St. Patrick's Day and we don't call it St. Patty's Day? Well, the Irish version of St. Patrick is Saint or Nave Foric. Okay? Foric. And yes, I know it sounds like it's with an F, but it's with a P. P-A-D-D-R-A-G. Yes, that's the way you spell it. That's where the name Paddy comes from, P-A-D-D-Y. It's a shortened version of Foric. Okay? So anybody you know over here in America that has the name of Patrick, their Irish name, the Irish version of that is Foric. Okay? And I'm saying it slowly so it can't be confused with anything else. And that's where we get Paddy from. P-A-D-D-Y comes from Foric. Okay? Don't call it Patty. Because even though we're kind-hearted Irish people, it just kind of irks us a little bit. We're like, yep. So don't do it. But yeah, have I given anything up? No, I haven't given anything. I'm going to take up something. I'm going to take up something for Len. I'm going to go back to the gym because I missed out in a while. I was actually in Atlanta yesterday. I was just outside Atlanta. I was Master of Ceremonies for an Irish festival. A massive shout out to the good people of the Taste of Britain. Yeah, I know. It's an oxymoron. Taste of Britain, celebrating Ireland, but it's Irish people that run it. Don't worry about it. And they gave me loads of chocolate. They gave me loads of Irish chocolate. Loads of it. So, listen, I'm not going to say anything about the fact that I had chocolate for breakfast, but might have had chocolate for breakfast this morning. And yeah, I know. Don't be giving out to me. It's fun. Anyway, I will be back next Sunday. Be back here, and I'll be back on Saturday night. Don't forget, I'll be back here on Saturday night. Don't forget, as always, during the week, we have some of the best award-winning content. And yes, I say award-winning, as Lonzo says to me all the time that he's won awards, with some of the best award-winning content here on the radio station. Joey kicks off in the morning. Then you've got Tara, Mike Gallagher, Bill Frady, on to Charlie James. The hits just keep coming. I'll talk to you next week. Have an absolutely fantastic week. Slán Abhaile. Bye. I'm going to leave the stream up for a minute. Hello, my streamers. No land for Southern Baptists. Okay. Do you drink? Do you drink alcohol? I don't. I gave it up years ago. Oh, I never talked about the Canadians. Didn't talk about the Canadians. Anyway, the Canadians got a new president. Fair enough. Why is it only recording? All right, streamers, I'm going to go and I will talk to you on Saturday night with Lonzo and the guys, and I will see you back here next Sunday night. Slán Abhaile. Have a great week. Bye.